أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله هو رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله هو الملك الحق المبين. خلق الإنسان من طين ثم جعل نسله من سلالة من ماء مهين، وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا محمدا عبده ورسوله هو الصادق الوعد الأمين، بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في سبيل ربه حتى أتاه اليقين. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين. أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear respected brothers and sisters, this mini lecture I was asked to give as part of the theme topic for this month, which is al-ta'ah, or the obedience. And I was asked to do this part, it's a very sensitive part, about the obedience to the rulers. Ta'atu wali al-amr. And as we all know, and I'm gonna, just to back up a little bit, I'm gonna just mention this whole subtopic just from the ayat of the Quran and from the sound hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, no more, no less. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran al-Kareem, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنكُمْ. يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم فإن تنازعتم في شيء فردوه إلى الله والرسول إن كنتم تؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر ذلك خير وأحسن تأويلا. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, O you who believe, أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول. Obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and obey the messenger Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْكُمْ, and those whom your affairs are in their hands, and those who manage the affairs of the Muslims, i.e. the leaders and the rulers. And the scholars, when they interpreted وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْكُمْ, some of them said they are al-ulama, the scholars. And some of them said they are al-umara, the rulers and the leaders. As we all know, at one point in time in the early Islamic history, they were both almost the same, whether leaders and or scholars, and we'll explain that just a bit later, inshallah. But the scholars who said that they are al-ulama, they have a textual evidence, another ayah, that talk about this, and it says, وَإِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِّنَ الْأَمْنِ أَوِ الْخَوْفِ أَذَاعُوا بِهِ وَلَوْ رَدُّوهُ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ وَإِلَى أُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْهُمْ لَعَلِمَهُ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنْبِطُونَهُ مِنْهُمْ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here describes that ulatul umur, the people whom the affairs of people are in their hands, are knowledgeable enough that they can extract rulings and they can interpret, and they have Islamic or religious knowledge. So this group of scholars that say that they are al-ulama, the scholars have definitely backings from the textual evidence as far as that is concerned. But regardless of who the leader is, there are guidelines of how these leaders come to that place of power and managing the matters of the Muslims, being in authority. Now, Islam has a unique system as far as the choice and the selection of leaders. First of all, leadership is not given to a person who asks for it or wants it. And this is clear from many hadith and many textual evidences per the statements of the Prophet ﷺ. Al-wilayah, leadership, is not given to a person who asks for it or wants it. Asks for it and wants it, and so he is hinting to people to give it to him. If this is the case, it is not to be given to that person. Leadership and power and or authority, that place, that chair, is to be given for the person who actually knows its due rights. So how is that? In Islam, ideally, we have a group of people, a group of scholars, elite scholars, very knowledgeable scholars, who are called Ahlul Hal wal Aqd. Literally, it means the people of tying and untying. They are the people that everybody respects and everybody knows their knowledge and everybody trusts their choices and their selections. And they are essentially kind of like a supreme council. This council, Ahlul Hal wal Aqd, these group of scholars, would choose, ideally, they would choose a leader from amongst themselves or somebody else and represent that person to the masses. And the masses would vote yes or no, which is called al-bay'ah. And the concept of bay'ah in Islam is different from going to vote in a ballot. The reason this is the case is because in the systems of voting in which, for example, 51% rules 49%, the vote of the righteous person, a scholar, for example, or a righteous person, a person who fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is exactly equal to the vote of a heedless person or a drunkard person, and so on and so forth. They're both equal. They both vote, and each vote is counted in the same way. No vote is heavier or lighter than the other. But in the Islamic system, it's such a unique system, subhanAllah, and it's the perfect system to lead a nation, in which this group of scholars would choose a candidate and present this candidate to the masses. And the masses then will give a mass vote, bay'ah, which is pledge of allegiance to that person. If they say, yes, we pledge allegiance to him as our leader, then that person becomes Khalifatul Muslimin, or the leader of the Muslims in that region or in general. So this is how the leader is chosen, and we all know that in the cases of the four rightly guided council of Islam, for example, that system was applied, and it was hinted by the Prophet ﷺ, for example, that his successor after him would be Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And again, the same thing almost happened with the choice of Sayyidina Umar. And again, Sayyidina Umar chose or recommended a group of people. From them, Sayyidina Uthman was selected, and so on and so forth. And even that system was applied in certain times of Islamic history when it was a dynasty in which the Khalifa, automatically his direct son or offspring, would be the next Khalifa. Even when that was the case, still that system was applied, and it was very successful. And Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was a scholar of Islam, and he was not the direct son of the previous Khalifa, and he was chosen by the scholars to be the Khalifa. And he is a well-known example and a fruit of that unique Islamic system. And he was a very fair Khalifa, to the point that scholars of Islam consider him as one of the rightly guided caliphs of Islam, as we all know. And he, by the way, he ruled for a period of only 2 years, and he changed the axis around for the Muslim Ummah during his reign or caliphate. So, right now, who is really the leader? The Prophet ﷺ says in the sound hadith, كُلُّكُمْ رَاعٍ وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. Every person is a ra'i, is responsible. And leadership is nothing but a responsibility. كُلُّكُمْ رَاعٍ وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. Every person is a leader, and every person is responsible for the ra'iyya, the people upon which he is responsible for, and so he has power over. So, Prophet ﷺ for them mentions, Al-Imam Ra'i wa mas'ulun an ra'iyati. The Imam, the leader, is Ra'i, is responsible, and is taking care of his ra'iyya, of the people that he is taking care of. And he is responsible for them. He has power. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him power because he has responsibility, and he is responsible for these people. The Prophet ﷺ goes further saying, الرجل في بيته راع ومسؤول عن رعيته. The man in the house, in the household, is a ra'i, is a responsible, is a caretaker, and he is responsible for his ra'iyya in his own household. المرأة في بيت زوجها. The Prophet ﷺ says, the woman in the house of her husband is also ra'iyya, is a caretaker and a responsible person. وَمَسْئُولَةً عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهَا. And she is responsible for her ra'iyya. To the point that even the Prophet ﷺ mentions al-khadimu fi mali sayyidi. Even a servant who is responsible for a business or wealth, an employee, for example, who is responsible for a particular portion of the business or some money that he's taking care of, he is ra'i. He is a caretaker of that, and he is responsible for his ra'iyya, whatever this or that ra'iyya is. So, kullukum ra'i. Everybody is a ruler or is a leader in his own realm, and everybody is responsible and a caretaker for the people or the entities that he has power and or responsibility over. So this is who are the leaders. And obviously the ultimate leader is the leader of all Muslims. The Khalifa of the Muslimin, of the Muslims. And we explained how that person is ideally chosen. The concept of bay'ah in Islam, this mass vote that we were talking about, is a pledge of allegiance. It is not just, I'm choosing that person, I'm saying yes for him, and that's it. It's really, as the Prophet ﷺ describes in the sound hadith, saying, وَمَنْ بَايَعَ إِمَامًا فَأَعْطَاهُ سَفْقَةَ يَدِهِ وَثَمَرَةَ قَلْبِهِ فَلْيُطِعْهُ إِنِ اسْتَطَاعَ فَإِنْ جَاءَ آخَرٌ يُنَازِعُهُ فَاضْرِبُوا عُنُقَ الْآخَرِ. It's an interesting statement of the Prophet ﷺ that kind of gives us a glimpse of what really bay'ah is in Islam. This mass vote to the leader, what is it? It's a sincere pledge of allegiance, and it's to support and defend the leader of Muslims at any cost. But obviously this leader has to abide by certain things. Number one, he has to be bounded by the bounds of Islam. He has to establish salah. And he cannot command with a ma'asiyah. As the Prophet ﷺ says in the sound hadith, that we only obey the leaders, our leaders, when they command us with anything, whether we like it or not, we have to obey them, as the Prophet ﷺ says in the sound hadith. But we cannot obey them فَلَا سَمْعَ وَلَا طَاعَ when they command us with a ma'asiyah, with a disobedience. Because the general rule is لَا طَاعَةَ لِمَخْلُوقٍ فِي مَعْصِيَةِ الْخَالِقِ. There is no obedience to any creation in the disobedience of the Creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, ماذا على ولاة الأمور? What do they have to do? Number one, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَخْفِضْ جَنَاحَكَ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and lower your wing to the believers. So a leader has to be humble, has to be a person that will lower his wing to the believers. He is not arrogant. He is not thinking that he is in a high tower and the people are just like slave servants to him. No. And the Prophet ﷺ was not that, and the rightly guided Caliph ﷺ were not like that, and these are our examples of leadership in Islam. Also, the general injunction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ وَإِيتَاءِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ. إِنَّ اللَّهَ, verily and surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ, commands with fairness and ihsan, وَإِيتَاءِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ. Now what else? What else of qualities and efforts of leadership that this leader has to have? The Prophet ﷺ says, ما من عبد يسترعيه الله رعية يموت يوم يموت وهو غاش لرعيته إلا حرم الله عليه الجنة. No leader, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him the responsibility of leadership over a group of people, and on the day in which he dies, if he dies in a situation in which he was cheating, غاش لرعيته, he was cheating and he was not fulfilling or giving them their due rights, and he was not fulfilling his responsibility as a leader towards them, إِلَّا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةِ, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will prohibit Jannah for him, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make Jannah prohibited upon him. Also, the Prophet ﷺ says in the sound hadith, ما من أمير يلي أمور المسلمين ثم لا يجد لهم وينصح لهم إلا لم يدخل معهم الجنة والعياذ بالله. That there is no Amir, there is no leader of the Muslimin, of the Muslims. He did not make the effort. He did not make effort for his leadership. He did not give his people good advice, and he did not take care of their affairs. إِلَّا لَمْ يَدْخُلْ مَعْهُمُ الْجَنَّةِ. He will not, except that he will not enter Jannah with his people. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Also, the Imam has to be kind and not harsh with his people. The leader has to be kind and not harsh with his people, because the Prophet ﷺ says, اللهم من ولي من أمر أمتي شيئا. Oh Allah, whoever has power or responsibility over some affairs from some of the people of this ummah, فشق عليهم فأشقق عليه, that if he is harsh with them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be harsh with him. وَمَنْ وَلِيَ مِنْ أَمْرِ أُمَّتِي شَيْئًا فَرَفَقَ بِهِمْ. And if somebody is responsible and has the power of the leadership, and he is kind and nice and not harsh with his people, فَأَرْفُقُ بِهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also be kind and nice and gentle with him, just like he was gentle with his people. طيب. So this is what the leader has to have from qualities. ماذا على الرعية? What about the people who are led by that leader? It is a very interesting hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in which he says, كانت بنو إسرائيل تسوسهم الأنبياء. The children of Israel, the Yahud, their leaders used to be prophets. كلما هلك نبي, every time a prophet would die, خلفه نبي. A prophet would come after him to lead them. So all of their leaders were prophets. Imagine that. وَإِنَّهُ لَا نَبِيَّ بَعْدِي. And the Prophet ﷺ says, and there is no prophet that will come after me, and we all know that. So who will come after the Prophet ﷺ? خلفاء, successors. So he says, وَسَيَكُونُ بَعْدِي خُلَفَاء فَيَكْثُرُونَ. And they will come after me خلفاء, successors, leaders, caliphs. فَيَكْثُرُونَ, there will be many. So the Sahaba asked the Prophet ﷺ, فَمَا تَأْمُرُنَا? What do you command us with respect to these or those successors and these leaders that will succeed you, O Prophet of Allah, Ya Rasul Allah? قال أوفوا ببيعة الأول فالأول ثم أعطوهم حقهم واسألوا الله الذي لكم فإن الله سائلهم عما استرعاهم. Subhanallah, a very interesting hadith. He said, alayhi salam, when the companions asked him, so what do we do with them? He said, أوفوا ببيعة الأول فالأول. Fulfill the rights of your bay'ah, of your pledged allegiance to the leaders. First comes first. The first one, then the next, then the following, and so on and so on. الأول فالأول. ثم أعطوهم حقهم. And then give them their due rights. What is that due right? It's obedience, الطاعة. You have to obey your leader, otherwise it is chaos. Otherwise, I don't want to obey the leader, then it's chaos. Then there is no stability in the Muslim Ummah. There has to be stability for progression and for progress and raha, and for stability and for prosperity to happen. ثم أعطوهم حقهم, and then give them their due rights, which is the obedience. واسألوا الله الذي لكم, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for your rights. فإن الله سائلهم عما استرعاهم. Because verily and truly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask those leaders about what? About the people that they were leading, if they gave them the due rights or not. My dear respected brothers and sisters, indeed, Imam al-Adil, the righteous, just and fair Imam or leader, can be sometimes a rare commodity, sil'a Nader. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ mentions these kinds of people, al-Imam al-Adil, as the first kind of the people that will be under the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment. Imam Adil. It's the first kind, and the first type of people that will be under the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the second one, as we all know, شاب نشأ في طاعة الله, a righteous youth that was raised up and grew up to be always in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But back to our topic, even Imam al-Shafi'i himself, it's been narrated that he said that if he is guaranteed the acceptance of some particular number of dua, he said, I would make these dua for al-Imam, the leader. That he would ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make him just, to make him salih, to make him fulfilling his the rights of the people that he is leading. Sayyidah Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, Ummuna wa Ummul, she says in the sound hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills good, khayr, for the leader, that he will create subhanahu wa ta'ala a bitana salihah for him, a good righteous inner circle that would command him of good, that will make him always look towards his people and take care of them. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills otherwise with the leader, with the Muslim leader, he would subhanahu wa ta'ala create a bad bitana, a bad inner circle that would not do that with him, that will make him heedless, that will make him forget about his people, that will make him that will lie to him, that will change the facts to him, and so on and so forth. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spare us that. Ameen. To conclude, my dear respected brothers and sisters, at-ta'ah is a crucial must to the leader, as the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith narrated by Ibn Umar, may Allah be pleased with him. The Prophet says that this hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. He says عليه الصلاة والسلام على المرء المسلم السمع والطاعة فيما أحب وكره إلا أن يؤمر بمعصية فإذا أمر بمعصية فلا سمع ولا طاعة. Upon each and every Muslim person is as-sam', listening, wa-ta'a, and the obedience to the leader. فيما أحب وكره, in things that he likes and in things that he doesn't like. Provided that إلا أن يؤمر بمعصية, except if he is commanded with a ma'asiyah, a disobedience. In that case, if he is commanded by the leader with a ma'asiyah, فَلَا سَمْعَ وَلَا طَاعَةَ, the Prophet ﷺ said, then there is no sam', there is no listening, and there is no obedience in that case. And the reason why the Prophet mentions in things that you like and in things that you don't like, فِيمَا أَحَبَّ وَكَرِهَ, because people are different in their views, in what they like, in what they don't like, in their points of view. I remember the professor once said, points of view are like noses. Everybody got one. It is hard to please everybody. But as long as the Muslim leader is within the bounds of Islam, establishing the law of Islam, the Sharia, and establishing Salah, and is commanding, and his commands are within these bounds, then whether you like it or not, you have to obey him. Otherwise, there will be no stability and no prosperity for the Muslims and for the Muslim nations ever. So this has to be well understood, and I conclude with that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the best leadership, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us obedient to our leaders to achieve and to our scholars and imams, Ameen Rabbil Alameen, to achieve the stability and the prosperity that is needed. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.